When do you hear such a voice? It's definitely someone has been injured, right? So today I want to take you through 5 injuries that are a must for you to know what during this holiday. Now we are in the season where we have our pupils, students, children at home, and we have no choice but to just bear them at home, because at least we have to give break to teachers, but now while we are having these children, there is a possibility of our children getting injured. And injuries happens from anywhere. It could be through playing, through just even watching, and then something falls on them, and so many mysterious ways that just injuries comes from nowhere. So it is important for you to have at least a clue, hata kama ujui yote, but you have at least a clue. You know what to be doing when this happens. So I'm taking you through 5 injuries that you must learn how to treat while at home. They are very common. They happen very commonly while at home. My name is Madam Anne A, and welcome back to my YouTube channel at Siana's.diaries. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification button and also like my videos if you enjoy watching them. Of course, I had said earlier that I would be doing first aid topics, so I remembered I'm doing nothing right now, so it would be better if I take you through this. I am an emergency medical technician lecturer, so it is my duty to ensure that you people know various first aid topics. And so in this case, what are those 5 common injuries that happen at home that you as a parent, you as a caregiver, you as a house manager need to know how to even how to treat them, or how to deal with them, rather than just panicking and keep calling your boss, or keep taking them, or wondering where to start from. And yet there's something you can do to try and treat or make at least the injury, or prevent it from becoming worse. And through that, you'd have saved a life. It might not necessarily be your child, but it could be even someone on the road, or a child on the road. Now we're talking of holidays that are full of our very own children. Now, the 5 major injuries that are common at home begins with burns. Have you ever been burnt? I mean, not necessarily being burned until the skin is chopped off. I'm talking of even minor burns. They're usually painful, right? Now, burns are very common even to children. You find that alikuwa anatembea kidogo akapita akaguza sufuria moto, and then burn occurred. Now, unfortunately, when you're a grown-up, I sustained a burn. I still have a black mark on me, but children usually heal faster, especially if you treat the burn earlier, or you try to do some first aid on them earlier. So burn is a very common injury, and it is very easy for you to treat burns before the ambulance arrives, before you call us. Do something, my dear. So know how to treat whether it is major burn or minor burn. Now you have 3 levels of burn. At least prevent the child from sustaining the 3rd level of burn, or just prevent the child from having blisters, which leads you to the 2nd level of burn by treating the burn when it's still at the 1st level. So learn how to treat burns at home, and not, of course, using the myths that we always know. It's normally difficult to convince people and tell them that myth doesn't work. That way is just a myth. They believe and are so stuck to it. I would encourage that you familiarize yourself with the medically approved means of treating burns, so that you at least do good to the injured child rather than worsening. You might think that you're using the right method. Kumbe, you are just even making things works for the medics who will be coming to pick that child, or even worsening the child's condition. So please know how to treat burns, whether major, whether external or internal, whether major or minor. Now, injury number 2 is bleeding. Have you ever bled? I mean, not necessarily major bleeding. We're talking of, have you ever seen blood coming from your body? I mean, through cuts, through lacerations or abrasions. Now, I'll take you through those different injuries that would lead to bleeding later on, but now we're talking about the injuries that are most common at home, and bleeding is not an exception. And we're talking of just someone playing or falling down and boom, the skin is cut. After it's cut, reached the capillaries or the vessels, and then boom, there is bleeding. So how do you go about it? Now you find that a very small injury, someone is already yelling and confused and don't know what to do, or some people even ignore and think that that is really small, we don't need to do anything. No, it is very important, because our skin was not made when it is already open. You can see that the skin is closed entirely. And that's how it's supposed to remain all throughout until you die. So in the case where now your skin has been broken down or has broken, then that means that is an injury, that is a problem, and you have to prevent. Why do you really have to treat for bleeding, whether major or minor? It is because if you have bleeding, then remember, every body part of a human being relies on blood, and not just blood, oxygenated blood. That's why we're breathing in and out. So without blood, how would oxygen reach your eye, and how would oxygen reach your ear, and even your nails? How would even oxygen reach your hair? Because it still needs nutrition. And okay, talking of now nutrition when it comes to hair, sijui kama inatumianga inapumuanga, I don't know, but majorly nutrition. Sindio, for you to have dark hair, you need nutrition, sindio, nutrients. Yeah, so if there is excessive bleeding now, or if you assume that this is a small bleeding, and then in the process, and then again we're talking of children, now the amount of blood that is supposed to be, that children are supposed to have, is not comparable to adults. If they lose a certain amount compared to adults, their condition would worsen. So it's important, if you know even how to stop the bleeding and how to treat those wounds so that they do not cause infection. So learn how to stop bleeding and how to control bleeding so that all your body part sustains enough oxygen that is able to sustain a life. And when you're talking of children, they are very delicate. They are not comparable to adults. Now let me stop there for bleeding. The next injury that is a must for you to know is that you're supposed to know is strains. Now, strain is a very common one. I'm sure your child has ever sustained strain. Now, strain, when you talk of strain, you're talking of that connective tissue being stretched. The connective tissue that connects, we have the skin, the muscle, and the bone. Now, before the muscle is connected to the bone, if you ever cut chicken, then you'd realize that there's that white thing that connects the muscle to the bone itself. So that thing is called the tendon. Now if you stretch the tendon, it would be very painful. It becomes very painful, and it causes an injury called strain. And kidogo tu mtoto ameanguka, kidogo akiamka, is not able to lift the hand anymore. Now you have to go to hospital, awekewe triangular bandages and more, or plaster. Yet if you'd have done something earlier, then it would have even reduced the possibility of even staying in the hospital for a long time. Now injuries to the bones takes longer to heal. Yeah, that's why you'd be put on a plaster, and then you're told after 2 weeks Rudy, after 1 week Rudy. So it takes quite long. So it is very important for you to know how to treat strain. Yeah, so that you can help your child and you can prevent the strain from becoming worse. Now, The next injury that is a sister to strain is called the sprain. And now it is the opposite to strain, because now when it comes to sprains, it is the injury to the connective tissue that connects the bone to bone. Now before the bones, if the bones would connect directly, they would cause a friction, and the friction would not be good for our health. And so for that reason, there's this connective tissue that is called the ligament. Now when it is stretched, because of excessive force, falling down, excessive weight, when it is stretched, it causes a very painful injury that is called the sprain. How do you treat for sprain, and how can you differentiate between a sprain and a strain? Now strain mostly is the muscle pull, what do we eat a muscle pull, right? But now the sprain, it's quite serious now, because now we're dealing with bones to bones. It's very, very painful, and especially any injury to a child, usi assume because a child is not like an adult. Their systems are not well developed, hata skin yao haiko well developed, ni kama mzee pia the same, so you have to treat them very seriously. Now learn how to treat a sprain. Our last but not least injury, that's the fifth injury that is common at home and that you should learn how to treat at home, is the dislocation. And again, dislocation is deals with bones. It's an injury to the bones. Now this is where now the bone is dislocated from its original position. So unaona, you see my phalange, this is usually called the phalange, easy finger bones. So you see, it's already in its position, but when a dislocation occurs, you might find that maybe my finger looks like this, or maybe heavy, and then it's very painful. It's not like normal, I can move it like this, like this. So unapata iko dislocated, inaka haiko in the normal shape. So bones are susceptible to dislocations, and they are now very painful, and they are again common. Now if you treat a dislocation well, if the initial treatment that you provide to that dislocated maybe let's say the hand or the leg, if you do the right thing, then you'd have saved that person a lot, because even excessive movement could worsen the dislocation, and if it worsens, it means it would even lead to internal bleeding, which now leads to more complications. Now this person might even require to go to surgery. But if you know how to deal with dislocations earlier, it would really, really, really save that person. So it is very important for you to really, really, really know how to provide initial help or assistance or medical service to the dislocation. Of course, again, we have the myths and the traditional ways, but I encourage you to use the medical approved ways of treating those injuries. Now, have you been enjoying my videos, or are you enjoying my content? Comment down below. Now, one thing I need you to comment is because in the next topic, it would not be fair if I would just tell you the injuries that are common at home and I don't mention how, or I don't take you through how to treat them, of course. So stay tuned on my YouTube channel so that you can know or learn how to treat them as per first aid. I told you the way you will treat the dislocation, the sprain, the bleeding would determine again on the time of healing, and also it would prevent that condition from becoming worse. So that is what we want for our child, right? Let them be home, but let them be home safe in the hands of you as a parent, you as a caregiver, you as the person in charge of the house. So I hope you have enjoyed my video. and we have come to the end of our video. Until next time, comment down below, first of all, which topic do you want me to start with, or which injury do you want to know or to learn first how to treat them as per first aid. So comment down below so that I can know, and also I'll make the content about how to treat the injury that you have suggested that I begin with it. But for now, until next time, you're done. See you. Bye.